There is no peace for the specter of Anthony Kim, who died many years ago. This week, court filings have brought his name back into the public eye after he had been absent for a while. The name Kim featured on a list of 71 players who, according to LIV Golf's allegations, corresponded with various officials from the PGA Tour about alternative tours and leagues over the past 3 years. The list of the players includes current and former professionals such as Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and Rory McIlroy. It goes all the way down to the Andy Ogletree, who competed in only one LIV tournament. Several of the players on the list have won many major championships. Given that Kim has not competed on the PGA Tour in more than a decade, and that he retired from the professional ranks in the middle of the 2010s, with what is believed to be a multi-million-dollar insurance policy, the alleged involvement of Kim is an intriguing possibility. In his most recent interaction with the media, which took place in 2015, Kim referred to golf as a pleasant memory of mine. His name was the one that caught many off guard the most on LIV's list, since he had avoided public appearances in the years leading up to it and in the years after it. On occasion, he was spotted in the wild, as if he were some sort of golfing Bigfoot. A spokeswoman from LIV Golf emphasized that the tour does not comment publicly on any of our private player talks in their statement. On the subject matter list are more than 100 agents, vendors, sponsors, and regulatory bodies like Augusta National and the R&A. As part of the process of discovery, LIV Golf submitted what's known as an interrogatory. In it, the company asked the PGA Tour to clarify any communications that may have taken place between the tour and those entities over the past 3 years about LIV Golf or anything else that falls under the purview of the LIV's launch, like the Premier Golf League, which failed to launch. The PGA Tour designated 31 of its current or former workers as representatives who could speak with entities on the tour's behalf. These representatives are now required to provide documentation of when communication was made, the medium in which it was made, in person, phone, text, email, etc., and with whom it was made. To put it another way, followers of Anthony Kim have a good cause to anticipate gaining some knowledge regarding his participation, if any, in the discussion regarding the LIV and the PGA Tour. For instance, Jason Gore, a former tour player who is now a player advisor, has been identified as speaking with the agents and players regarding the topic of the scope of the LIV Golf over the past 3 years. This finding comes as no surprise. As for Commissioner Jay Monahan, he has engaged in conversation with a diverse range of organizations. The PGA Tour and LIV Golf are currently engaged in what's technically 2 separate litigation, but they have combined them into one. There's the initial antitrust complaint that was filed on August 3, 2022 by LIV and 3 remaining golfers. There were once 11 golfers who were plaintiffs in this case. Moreover, there is a countersuit that was filed by the PGA Tour against the LIV on September 28. In recent weeks, attorneys for both parties have been actively meeting to determine the scope of discovery. Discovery is a phase in any litigation during which documents are shared between the parties that will help establish or disprove the numerous charges that have been thrown between them. To refresh your memory, the initial complaint that was lodged by LIV golfers at the beginning of August was more than 100 pages long and featured hundreds of complaints. When it comes to one of the most beloved folk heroes in the sport of golf, Anthony Kim, fans tend to pounce on any news that can get their hands on. Since Kim's final competition in 2012, which is more than a decade ago, there have been just a handful of actual updates from Kim since then, which have only added to the mythos of the character. Because of this, golf communities have become interested in a piece that was published on Thursday in the New York Times. One of Kim's previous caddies, Eric Larson, who currently loops for Harris English, is quoted in the article, even though it seems Kim declined to be interviewed for the piece, which is not surprising. Larson related to the New York Times that he recently had a phone conversation with Kim and asked the one-time prodigy if he would play in the LIV Golf tournament. Kim's name has been linked to LIV ever since the initial discussion of the possibilities of a league that would compete with the PGA Tour took place. This has spurred fan excitement about the possibility of seeing Kim, who is now 37 years old, compete again. The following is a quote by Larson. According to what he shared with the New York Times, he goes, "I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I told him, come on man, get the old clubs out," he said. "Get some fresh air and enjoy yourself, will you?" And at that point, he begins to laugh at me. He goes, "That's what everybody wants me to do." Yeah, AK, if you joined LIV and people could watch you play golf again, your fan base would go crazy if you did that. The three-time winner of the PGA Tour has oddly been named in a legal filing that LIV submitted in the fall. In that filing, LIV sought information from the Tour on prominent names that the Tour may have talked to about LIV. It's unknown whether he has received an offer from LIV. It doesn't necessarily mean LIV handed Kim a formal offer, but it doesn't quiet any of these LIV speculations we stated before. In 2015, Kim revealed to the Associated Press that he was collecting money on an insurance policy. Kim had struggled with injuries in the years leading up to his retirement from the PGA Tour. It's believed that he would no longer be able to earn those monthly payments under the policy if he were to return the PGA Tour after taking advantage of the program. It's not known whether or not he would be subjected to the same restrictions if he played for a different professional tour such as LIV Golf. The most recent information that we have indicates that we do not have any definite information regarding Kim, which is a viewpoint that golf fans frequently take. The story that was published in the New York Times did not provide us with a great deal of the fresh information about Kim, but it's an interesting read for anyone interested in gaining any new understanding of the Ryder Cup standout from the 2008. The sensation would turn out to be ephemeral after a string of subsequent exciting triumphs that cemented his status as one of the game's most prominent figures and lasted 4 years after his initial victory. Kim abruptly quit the sport. His prominence was being hindered by injuries, and he required some time off to recover. Nevertheless, in addition to his bodily issues, he must have been struggling with the presence of some unseen and unknown powers within him. How was the video? Did you enjoy it? Tell us in our comment section below and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates.